But then I'm also curious, like, where you think we get stuck more collectively with these bigger topics such as like racism, and how can we heal from this historical trauma that has happened more collectively?
Yeah, collectively, absolutely. When it comes to racism, I think we get stuck with the brutal truth of how it's shown up and how it's still practiced every day. And I think one of the biggest kind of hurdles in the road, so to say, because I think it's something we can get past, is that the collective identity of white folks has been standardized, where white people don't even see whiteness as a culture. I live in Minnesota. I'm around white folks all the time. And one of the things I often hear is I'll ask them, what is your ethnicity? And they'll say, well, Brandon, I'm a mutt. I have Irish and Polish and Italian, and it's just all mixed up. And then I say, what's your race? And it gets quiet because they're like, oh, I'm just white, I guess. I'm just whatever. It's just white. And I say, that's your culture too. And then they said, we don't have culture, because culture has been presented to white folks collectively as like patterns that people have. Like if I say Aztec culture, you have an idea in your head. Oh, Aztecs have these patterns and these colors, and they do, sweat lodges and all these things. Like you have this kind of idea of what culture is outside of yourself instead of internal. That's one of the ways that we get stuck with it. Because what ends up happening in the context of racism, and I'm using this more in the United States context, because outside the U.S., there's racism, but it's way different than what it is here. It's more around like ethnicity, sometimes around colorism and things of that nature, but it's not necessarily like American racism. Here in the United States, we're so race focused. And we don't understand that when people come here, most immigrant folks, people that are usually of color, some who are not, some white immigrants as well, they're all trying to subscribe and assimilate to what white culture is, that's standard. But white folks don't realize it's like a fish in water, that your culture is the standard. That's where we get stuck, because now, especially after the death of George Floyd, and all these organizations and agencies and institutions are like, all right, we got to talk about racism now. Then they just went forward, just like, pedal to the metal, sometimes, in unconstructive ways. They said, all right, white folks, we're going to look at your culture. And white people are like, whoa, what my culture? What are you talking about? Like, and now you're telling me I'm a racist? And I didn't do anything. Like, I just grew up in my community.